before we get started, I know that Coach Vincent will probably have something to say, but I want to say something because I've known Jerry Brown for a long time. And Jerry was a friend. I consider a friend. Didn't see him a lot, but I know he bled purple. He was a Valley Head Tiger through and through. He was a head coach for many, many years. He used to call the scoreboard show a lot of times. And our thoughts and prayers with Coach Brown and his family, and, of course, the Valley Head community today and Valley Head High School. So with that being said, I'm going to introduce Coach Heath Benson, head football coach for the Valley Head Tigers. Coach, if you would, I'm sure you got some comments you'd like to make about Coach Brown, but introduce the players also that you have with you today. Thank you.
Okay, we're good? Yeah. All right, thank you so much for putting this event on. It's an honor to be here, and it's an honor to be able to bring our players up here and experience something as great as this. I want to let my players introduce themselves.
My name is Pacey Cooper, and I play outside linebacker and tight end.
I'm Ian Bain. I play quarterback and DB.
I'm Roger McMahon, and I play defensive end and tackle.
Now, with our guys, though, they're being modest by some of those positions because we play multiple. I think Pacey's a blocking back, tight end, running back. Ian's also a wing back, quarterback. He's tackle, blocking back. So we, being at the 1A level, our guys have multiple positions. This Wednesday evening, we found out that Valley Head Communities had a huge loss. It's a loss to, our football program, our school, and our community with the loss of Coach Jerry Brown. He was an iconic figure. I know I've been the head coach for 3 years there at Valley Head, starting the 4th season, and it's every time I laid eyes on him in the hallways, it was about football, and he knew the history of Valley Head football and knew the players, and he served as a head coach in the late 90s at Valley Head, and he's been an assistant coach at Valley Head for basically the entire duration. When I first started coaching back in the season of 1998-99, I started at section, and that's when I met and got to know Coach Brown at Valley Head. And so when I've known him throughout the 23 years of my coaching career, I've known Coach Brown, and I will say definitely over the last, and living very close to him in the community, I know what an iconic figure he is there. He does so much for the kids of Valley Head and the community of Valley Head and Hammondville. He will be dearly missed. We've got a ceremony this Sunday at 2 o'clock at the Valley Head Gymnasium honoring Coach Brown. And, it's still troubling. It's troubling to our players yesterday when we sat down and spoke about the loss of Coach Brown. And he will be deeply missed, and he will be remembered forever in our community.
Coach, could you give us a season outlook at this point in time of the season here, 3 weeks away from you starting?
Yes. Looking down our schedule, it is an extremely challenging schedule this year. We do have a lot of unknowns with many new coaches throughout we open up week 0, so we're just a few weeks away from, on the 20th, open up with Raglan. Raglan has a new coach, and we knew that, I know that they have a lot of their players, returners coming back. They were a solid team last year. We had a extremely physical ball game with Ragland last year, right out in game one. So they will be coming into Valley Head on August the 20th, and we've got to get ready for. We know an extremely talented 1A team in Ragland. The second game was against section. Chris Hammond and his section players. They've had tons of improvement. They were a good team last year, and they're better this year. We played them in the spring this year, a little 2-quarter jamboree, just so that both teams, me and Coach Hammond agreed that both our teams needed to see some live action, and so we went ahead and played the spring game, and it was a physical spring game. But you may be having Coach Hammond in section here, but they are a very, very good football team. So our first 2 games are going to be, it's going to be challenging games for us, which I think will make us better for when we start region play. On the 3rd, we open up with Cedar Bluff. Open up region play with Cedar Bluff. We will go to Cedar Bluff. Coach Alan Beckett is the new head coach there. I've known Coach Beckett from his time coaching at Collinsville, the very successful teams he's had there in Winterboro. So they will be a very tough challenge for us. I know that they have several returners. They lost a few, Cedar Bluff did, but also have many returners coming back, and especially Leak, one of their major athletes there. He's a very good football player. On the 10th, we'll have Woodville. Woodville also is under a new coach and new direction, so a lot of some unknowns there. We will have to go to Woodville. On the 17th, Gainesville. Gainesville will be coming in. They'll be coming to us. It'll be our homecoming game. And Gainesville had a very good crew last year, a very good squad, much improved under Coach Knapp, and they have several of those returners coming back. And so some unknowns. On 9/24, we play Ider. It'll be our 6th game, but Ider will be a non-region game for us, and of course, they'll be up here next. But they have their senior. We know that Ider is going to be a senior-led team and very strong this year, and very strong within their 2A region. So that'll be also a very tough task for us. We got Appalachian. We'll have to travel down to Appalachian, which is under a new coach also. Last year, I think Appalachian may have come in with 30-something players, and they have many of those returning, even though they're under a new coach. We know that they'll have a lot of returners coming in. On the 8th, September the 8th, October the 8th, we'll have Coosa Christian. We follow Coosa on a lot of data. They're on social media a lot, and we know that they've really been working and building their program. So we look for them to be definitely a challenge within the 1A Region 7. We'll have a bye week built in on the 15th of October. We'll finish out region play with Summerton Christian coming into Valley Head. Now, Summerton last year, they had more players than anybody else in our region. I mean, when I got there and they were out there practicing with Coach Powell, they looked like they had 40 or 50 players on that end of the field. And they had a lot of the young ones, and I know some of his major defensive players. I think he had one a linebacker in the region that had 130-something tackles last season. He's extremely talented, but they have a lot of their team coming back. And when I look at how many returners coming back, you can kind of gauge the strength at our level. And they are one of the strongest as far as I feel this season, as far as having returners coming back to play. We'll finish out on Thursday night on October 28th with Collinsville. Collinsville's been a long time game between Valley Head and Collinsville. Even though with their talent, it's been it's always a challenge, and especially knowing that Coach Willingham will be back there directing them again. So they will be fundamentally sound, and we'll have to be top of our game to be able to have a chance with them. And that'll finish out our regular season.
Well, Coach Vincent, you and I talked about this. You talked about yesterday y'all had a workout, and you were impressed how the kids have retained a lot from the spring. And I'd like for the kids to comment on this too. You know, last year we had all the distractions with COVID, and you didn't even know if he was going to play on Friday nights. Do you think you and the kids may be a little bit more focused on just football, and that allows them to be able to retain a lot from spring because there's the distractions are not really there as of this time, so they can focus on football, school, and the things that young people enjoy doing?
There definitely is a lot less stress this year, not worrying like if we're going to be able to play next Friday or not. And we take our precautions. We still wipe down our bars. We still clean. We still try and wear face masks in the locker room. We're still doing our part. But other than that, COVID's not really that big of a factor this season.
Not having to worry about that kind of makes it easier on us because we can just do us, you know, and we don't have to really worry about getting shut down and not being able to play.
Yeah, it helps the team a tremendous amount because that's less stress, and you ain't got to worry about family members or no stress like that on you, and you can just focus on the game.
Coach, 8 wins last year, 8-2, lost to Brilliant in the playoffs. But you've got to replace a key player last year. Jordan Burt was outstanding player for you. Talk about I know some of these guys are the guys that's got to step in and take his place. Talk about some of those guys and maybe some newcomers that's going to step into some key roles for Valley Head this year.
Yes, last season was an outstanding season for us, and part of that I contribute was having a strong senior class and having Jordan Burt, which ended up with about 1,400 yards rushing, followed by Bryson Morgan with about 1,200. They anchored a lot, and plus having the, and that's attributed to our offensive line success of them. This is nothing that I've stressed to this team too. For us to have that type of success, we've got to put together the same combination that we had last year with our offensive line being able to move people, for us being efficient, for us playing solid defense. We've moved Ian. Ian played wingback for us last year. He's moved into the quarterback role, but even though he's moved into it, Pacey and Ashton Brown will also have repetitions there, where there were multiple position areas. We've had conversations over the spring. I think I elected to do a spring this year because we had question marks and we had to find out, what our identity is. And we're a different team from last year. It's going to be a little bit different. We've got the ability to have a high level of success, but we are going to be more of a grinding style of team, being able to move the ball and control the game by being able to move the sticks and continue. We stress positive gains in our offense. We're looking for 3 to 4 yards downhill, opening up the gap, and like we said, if we can get more blockers into the target areas, then as the game goes on, it can weigh on the defense. Plus, we can control the clock by doing it. Defensively, we've got to be as efficient with all, losing the seniors we had last year that all played defense too. We've got to be better tacklers and better space. And we found that out in the spring game against Section, where we was able to limit them on possessions, but possession time, because I think Chris kidded with me that they only had, in a half, they only had less than 20 snaps. And I said, well, because we held the ball. But I said, that's the way we're going to have to be. Our key to success this year will be able to control the clock, control the ball. Defensively is we're going to have to be as efficient, going to tackle in space, swarm the ball, and do the things that we're going to have to do to be able to stop our opponents.
Coach Adam Ward, WAFN-FM. Your first year, you guys not only moved up to Region 7 out of 6, but you go 1-9, and then in your second year, it was like almost, I guess, like a light switched on. and you go 6-4, or 6-5, excuse me, and then last year even improved off of that, going 8-3. Could you talk about the improvement you've seen in your program as you head into your fourth year?
Yeah, a lot of it was, it's evolution of these players, and it's evolution of, I may have come in a little too much, too complex. We're gonna do, we're gonna be able to run these 100 formations and do these 100 plays and run all these things on defense. And I had to dial back a little bit. Our players didn't really understand what was going on, and we dealt with a bunch of injuries also. But these players can tell you, do we like the weight room?
We love the weight room.
Okay, so that's been the key to our success. We've got strong enough to overcome injuries. Injuries can be, it happens, but we've got to be strong enough to try to prevent them as much as possible. And being healthy, we had a great, I think, the turning point was 2 years ago, and we went 6-4. But man, we were in some, I guess, dogfights within that region, going over with R.A. Hubbard and Decatur Heritage. Last year we moved regions, and I think with having another year of maturity, and especially going to our single wing, which fits us better with our personnel, we've had success out of it. And being a second year running that offense, and now moving into the third, our kids understand it, and they understand what we're trying to do, and it works.
Okay, thank you, Coach. Thank you, guys, for coming this morning. Good luck to the Valley Head Tigers in 2021. As you said earlier, Coach, open with Ragland. The Purple Devils are coming to Tiger Stadium
Yes.
in a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, I think. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank y'all so much.